This is Joseph Robinson, and welcome to Man's Trash, God's Treasure. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and make sure you hit that notification button so you can be notified about my new videos.
Welcome back to Man's Trash, God's Treasure. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about running away from your purpose. That's right, I'm talking to you. So if you're tuning in and you know you've heard or seen a sign you're supposed to do something and you run away from it, or you're afraid of it, or you just don't want to do it, you've been there, right? When you're supposed to do something and you don't do it. When your mama tell you to do something and you go do what you want to do, what do? You got to suffer consequences, right? Or now you got to wash 3 loads of laundry as opposed to washing one, right? I mean, it's one of those things, right? Or you got to wash all the dishes and cook dinner. That's what I'm talking about, right? So it causes you to have to take a harder route when you run away from the things you're supposed to do. And that's what I'm here to talk about, is running away from your purpose. Now, I have an example, right? I have an example. It's one of my favorite stories in the Bible. This young man was told by God to go tell a very threatening and scary tribe of people about their demise. He's supposed to warn them. And he decided he didn't want to do that. So he ran the opposite direction. Now, the reason why this is one of my favorite stories is because it's not because he ran away. That's not my favorite part, right? My favorite part is in him running away, he actually showed faith in God, which is kind of contradictory. Like, how do you show faith and you ran away from the very person who told you to do what you had to do? Well, I'll tell you. Now, it is in human nature to sometimes disobey and be disobedient, whether it comes to your parents, your teachers, sometimes even your boss, even yourself. We told ourselves we're going to lose this much weight within a certain amount of time. I'm going to be skinny by January. And we go into the gym every day, and then you set foot in the gym on December 29th thinking you're going to lose all that weight. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, right? It just doesn't happen. So we do this. We do this to ourselves, right? So the fact that someone disobeys God or something that God has told them through someone else to do is not very surprising in Bible stories. So we'll get to why Jonah is one of my favorite stories in the Bible. Now, Jonah, as I said before, was told to go tell a very harsh truth to some very unruly, unsettling people. And I guess he decided to be like, hey, nah, I'm not going over there. God, I got something else that I'm going to do. Okay, yeah. Jonah, that's God that's talking to you, though. He's literally telling you got to go over there. Now, I'm going to go over here. And that's literally what he does. He goes the opposite direction of where God tells him to go. Right? So you think you got an unruly child, or you were an unruly child. That's something where you can't really, talk about God telling you what to do, and you like, nah, I got something else I need to go do. I'm not doing that. Like, wow, you got some stones on you, brother, don't you? But anyway, I think I'm having too much fun with this. But he gets on a ship with non-believers, people who are not of the same faith as him, and thinks that he's literally going to escape having to do what God has told him to do. So in the midst of all this, he's in the middle of the ocean. And God's like, hey man, like I told you to go do something. What you think this is? That's no. You can't just do that. You agreed. You agreed. Now God gives us free will, of course, but he agreed to be a prophet. So a prophet's job is not always easy. Knocking on that door is not always easy. Going where he asked you to go is not always easy. As a matter of fact, most of the time it's not easy at all. People don't want to hear from you, like you don't. So he's not going into a situation where he has a job for God that's going to be comfortable, is what I'm saying. And yeah, your life is usually on the line. Like, yes, you have to go over here and tell these people, look, if y'all don't start straightening up, you're done. My God said so. I don't believe that the reaction to that message is going to be very good. Especially from people who don't believe in the God that you believe in. So we have this going on. And so he's like, nah, I'm not going to see them. Those are terrible people. So God then says, okay, well, you're not going to listen. Then I'm going to make you listen. Or better yet, you're not going to listen. I'm going to make the people around you aware of the situation. So what does God do? He conjures a storm. There's a storm just in the area where the ship is at. So everybody on the boat is panicking. They're like losing their minds. I mean, it's a big storm out in the middle of the sea. What are you supposed to do? Like they're running around like, what do we do? What's going on? What happened? Where'd this come from? Why is there rain? Why is there huge waves? Like, why does it feel like the ship is being battered? Like we're about to sink. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? So they're running around the ship and panicking, probably throwing up, people seasick, getting discombobulated, don't know where they're at, probably lost some people overboard too. I mean, causing straight chaos in there. And you asked me what? What'd you say? Oh, where was Jonah at? Oh yeah, Jonah was asleep. Jonah went to sleep. Jonah sleeping in the storm. And that's where the faith comes from. Like everybody else is scared for their lives. Don't know what to do. Battening down hatches for God's sakes. And Jonah, oh, he's asleep. Yeah, he's asleep. So so he has so much faith that he knows that God is not going to harm him, that he goes to sleep and he's sleeping peacefully. Like maybe they heard him snoring or something like that. Because the people came upon him and were like, hey, does this dude know something that we don't know? And they literally say, bro, this is your fault. Like, like we know that this is your God doing this to our ship. You gotta go. So they threw him overboard. They threw him overboard the ship. What are you supposed to do when you find the problem? Nah, you gotta get rid of the problem. Right? And he gets swallowed up by the whale. But the one thing about God you can count on, that if he wants you to do something and you agreed to be in his service, he got you. He got your back. The whale came and got him, right? So if you decide you want to change your mind, as I told my homeboy a little while ago, God will send you an Uber. He will come pick you up to go do what he asked you to do. He will come pick you up. He will. He'll do it. Yeah. That's an Uber. A whale. And guess where the whale took you? Where he didn't want to go. Ain't that crazy though? But he'll do it. You gonna fulfill that purpose. Oh yeah, if you agree, if you are a servant of God and you said I'll do what you tell me to do, that's it. Free will gone now. Free will turned to free willy. I'm just saying, look, it's simple. If you run away, you still got to do it, right? You still got to do it. And we all know that it's symbolism. We all know it's symbolism. People will know when you're not where you say you're supposed to be or where God has put you to be, and you're out of sorts, you're out of place. People will recognize that. They definitely will. There's a feeling, there's an anointing on you. There's a spirit about you. There's a sort of an aura when you're supposed to be serving a purpose. You're supposed to be serving a purpose. There is a reason for you to be where you're supposed to be. And when you're not there, it is very loud and blatant that you're not supposed to be there. Right? If you walked out into your backyard and saw a shark just chilling on your lawn, would that not be weird? He's not supposed to be there. That is not supposed to be there at all. That'd be strange. It's the same thing with you. You're going to stick out just like that. Like, what are you doing here? And that's what those people said on that ship about Jonah. Hey, you're not supposed to be here. That's why we going through the stuff we going through, because your God's trying to find you. Bro, get up. Let's go. Come on. You got to get off here, man. You causing all kinds of havoc. And that's exactly what happens when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing for God. You cause all kinds of havoc, not just for yourself, but for those around you. And you comfortable in the havoc because guess what? You know that your God is going to protect you. But everybody else don't know what's going on. You ain't supposed to be there. So running away is not a choice. Especially when you said that you was going to do what you're supposed to do. You don't want God to see you in Uber. The well, I feel like the well symbolizes depression. Nobody wants to be in the belly of a whale. Nobody does, right? You can just imagine how that smells or feels, or the process of being swallowed by the whale, right? It can't be a good feeling. Think about it. And then when you get in the whale's belly, it's darkness. You've been swallowed up. You've been swallowed whole. So when you don't do God's purpose, or you run away from God's purpose, knowing what you're supposed to be doing, things around you get crazy. You get rejected. You go into depression. And you go through it only to be delivered to where he asked you to go anyway. Only to serve the purpose he asked you to serve in the first place. Ain't that crazy? So it's almost like putting yourself through unnecessary torment when you could have just done what he asked you to do in the beginning, right? I mean, I'm serious, right? I mean, it's just what it is, but we've all done it. We've all done. I've done things where I know I wasn't supposed to do these things, and I wasn't where I was supposed to be at, and things start to happen in your life. You start losing friends, you lose money, you can't keep track of things. Things that were actually in check and normal become disordered, disheveled, just out of control. Your parents start treating you crazy. Your relatives start treating you crazy. Things start happening that don't make any sense. Like, you know. And you think about it and like, you know what, man? I ain't supposed to be here. I ain't supposed to be here. The criminal who keeps getting caught and going to jail, bro, you probably shouldn't keep doing these things. You're not built for that. Right? It's the truth. He'll show you. Some people choose to ignore it. But he'll show you you ain't supposed to be here. You ain't supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to be doing something else. I asked you to do something else. Now why are you over here doing this? Why are you over here causing chaos over here? I'm trying to wake you up. It's happened to us before. It's happened to me before. It's happened to me before. Same thing when your parents, catch you doing something you ain't supposed to be doing. You're going to get in trouble for it. It's accountability. Now you get something taken away from you, right? You've all been put on punishment before, put on restriction before. Can't go out, can't do this, can't do that, can't watch TV. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same thing. He starts taking stuff out your life. Or he starts putting things in your life that are assigned to you that he sees what you're doing and that you ain't supposed to be doing. He sends you that Uber, right? He'll put stuff in your life to get you back onto your purpose. But your purpose also serves you. So you're actually doing yourself a detriment. And when you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in God. You don't have faith. You don't have faith in yourself. You don't have faith that God's giving you the tools to get done what he's asking you to get done. Jonah didn't have faith that God was going to protect him from the backlash of him telling those people that if they did not shape up, that there was going to be a price to pay. He did not have faith that God was going to protect him. So he went the other way. But he went that other way and took that journey and went through all that just to end up where God asked him to be anyway. So you go through all that stuff, that unnecessary stress, depression, chaos, and you end up having to do what he asked you to do anyway. And there's no judgment. I'm talking to myself. Because I've done that before. Man, you went through all this and you could have just done the right thing in the first place. You went through all this and you could have just went and did. Come on, man. You did all that for what? What point did you prove? You had to do it anyway. And it's the truth. That's life. You got to do it anyway. So why go to, why wait for God to send you an Uber? Why go through the belly of the whale, the fish? Why? When you could have just gone normal. When you could have taken your Honda Accord. I know I'm just being goofy. I'm being goofy right now. But what I'm saying is you could have just gone over there and not taken the long way around. I think any amount of time, to 1 second, 1 minute, 1 year, 1 month, whatever. Any amount of time is too long to be in the belly of a whale. But as I said, I think it symbolizes oppression. I think the chaos that happened in the ship is chaos in your life. And him being tossed from the ship is him basically losing that comfort he had. And he goes into depression. Because God's not going to comfort you and make you feel all nice and royal and wonderful and you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. He's not. So that's the lesson about running away from what your purpose should be. And you don't feel fulfilled as a person when you're not. As I spoke about in the last couple of videos, you don't feel fulfilled, right? It doesn't work that way. You'll live a happier, healthier, more fulfilled life when you do what you're being put here to do. The shark in the backyard, it can't breathe. It's dying because it's not where it's supposed to be at. Same thing with you. You're not physically dying or technically dying. But you're not where you're supposed to be at, so you're suffering. And you're going through some things that could literally be avoided. So go after your purpose. Do what you've been asked to do. Fulfill what you need to fulfill. The need that he has you here for. Because you're God's treasure. That's right. You. Make sure you tell yourself that every day. You're God's treasure and you're here to fulfill a purpose. Not to run away from or hide from, because you can't. It'll catch up with you. And you'll feel it. You'll feel the consequences. You'll feel that you're out of place. You'll feel that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're God's treasure. So go out there and do what you got to do. Do what you're supposed to do. No matter how hard, no matter how scary it may be, no matter how unbelievable it may be to others, prove them wrong. God will never put more on you than what you can handle because you're God's treasure. That's right, God's treasure. So make sure you tell yourself that every day. Look in the mirror. You can look in the video right now and say it through the reflection on your screen. I am God's treasure. Does that feel better? So just remember that. Until next time.
Like, comment, subscribe, share, and make sure you hit that notification button so you can be notified about my new videos.